Okay, last time we started the video by actually building the Lian Li disc. This time we're actually gonna start getting everything prepped. And the most thing first I gotta do is actually take down my my builder called Kikoho. It's the ASA 804 pyramid case that I showed you with the thread ripper inside. So I actually gotta remove the motherboard, the power supply from there, and also the capture card that I'm gonna be using for my camera. That's the very first thing. Then I'm gonna start building the game inside with the new motherboard, the new CPU, blah, 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 blah. You know, the works. So now, let me start off by getting my pyramid case prepped and ready to be dissected. All right, so now it's time to prep this disc. So the first motherboard is gonna go here, the second one's gonna go here. I don't know whether I'm gonna do the stream inside here, the game inside here. I figured it out when I actually put both of the motherboards on. I can flip flop, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I am going to have to start unscrewing this to get everything started. All right, so this is my old streaming PC that was in the pyramid case. I do need to actually remove a couple things from this case, such as the motherboard, the RAM, the storage. I'm going to be reusing it for the new build. Also, I need to take the capture card and the power supply from this, because the power supply I believe is a Vantex 1200 watt, and I'm going to be using it on the gaming side and moving 1000 watt to the streaming side. So first, let me go on and take everything I need from this old case out and get it ready for the new build. All right, if I remember right, let's start off by removing the screws from that's holding the graphics card and the capture card. One thing I know for sure is going to be a little bit difficult is taking the AIO that's attached to this graphics card out of this case. It's all because the fans that's attached to the AIO is ran through the bottom of this case through the power supply. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. Maybe I don't have to remove the whole graphics card. Maybe if I just remove it and move it to the side and just remove the motherboard, then I can get to the power supply tray. So let's see, I'm gonna unhook the power cable from here. See, I can actually move it to the side like this. Moving to the side like this and have it hanging like this. This allowed me to actually get to this capture card here. And then I have to remove some screws behind here to drop this power supply. So hopefully I don't have to remove the whole thing to get to it. All right, let me take the screws out for the capture card, and then I can just pop that out. It's held down by a riser. I'm gonna reuse this. This is the Elgato 4K 60 Pro. I'm gonna be actually using this for my face cam, my DSLR camera I'm gonna be using. All right, so I got the capture card out, the riser cables. Now I just need to disconnect all the cables here. Try not to bend any. Actually, I need to remove this. It's just in the way of one of the cables. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Disconnect this cable. Yeah, I wished I would have got custom cables for this build a long time ago, because Just a rat nest right here. And I believe there's one more cable left. So it's one screw here. One screw here. Another screw right here. 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 All right, now I should be able to remove this motherboard right here. This is the Asus Zenith 2 motherboard for the Threadripper 3960X. I don't plan on upgrading this. This is a beast of an editing rig. Has 128 gigs of RAM. At least what, 4 terabytes worth of storage in M.2s in here. So I don't plan on upgrading. Then I got this DIMM slot 2 slot right here that I can actually put more storage in here. The only thing I'm gonna be doing is cleaning this off and then installing the water block. All right, I'm gonna try to remove this 6900X out of this case. I might be messing myself up, but let's see. All right, so I was wrong. I do actually have to remove this power supply to get everything out of here. So hey, that's my bad. You live and learn. It's been like 5 years since I built this. So if I remember right, it's a screw here, it's a screw here, and it's one behind here to drop that power supply. Yeah, I just heard the power supply drop, so I was right about that. All right, so it's a screw right here. After I dropped it, it's a screw right here, and what I'm worried is it's gonna fall backwards, but we're gonna find out. So okay, it didn't fall backwards, but it fell down, so that's a good sign. Here's the power supply. Oh, bumped into the tripod. Yeah, this is a 1200 watt, so this is actually gonna be perfect. Man, it's been so long since I actually had to, I need to actually clean this power supply out, because how this case is designed, you really can't clean the bottom of this power supply, so I hope it's not like real dirty and dusty. All right, funeral service for this. I'm gonna miss this case. It was a great showpiece. A lot of people came over and was amazed at how beautiful this Asa case was, the 804. I believe that's what it's called, but I really love this case. But it's time to move on. So what we're gonna be transplanting from Kikoho, which is my pyramid case. Again, it's the Asus Zenith 2 with the 3960X, 128 gigs of RAM. This 1200 watt power supply from Fantex, and for my camera, my 4K 60 Pro. All right, so it's time to build the gaming PC, and for the CPU of choice is going to be the AMD Ryzen 9900 X3D CPU, pairing with G-Skill Trident Z Royal Neos in gold to kind of match the theme. I believe it's 6432 gigs of RAM. For storage, I have 3, 1 for boot, and that's the Western Digital Black 500 gigs. That's gonna be my boot drive, and for my 2 storage drives, both are Western Digital Blacks, 2 terabyte Gen 4s. And for the motherboard, it's gonna be the Asus ROG Crosshair X870E Hero. And also, this is gonna be water cooled, by the way. This is actually my first time using the Alpha Cool block. Normally I'm using EK water block, so I want to try something new. And this is the Apex line for the AM5. So I can't wait to actually see how the difference is with the temps and the cooling. But I do really love how it looks. Yeah, like I said, I'm using the Asus ROG Crosshair X870E Hero board. I'm a big fan of Asus boards. They never done me wrong. I know some people have their bad rep talking about customer service. I don't know, because I never had to actually call them and use the customer service. All my boards work, down to my Threadripper boards, my Intel, the Z690 boards. All my boards are just working perfectly fine. Maybe I'm just blessed like that. I know some people, you know, gonna probably say, oh yeah, it's just you. I understand, but that's how electronics is. Some people are gonna have the golden goose and some people are not. But until then, I'm gonna continue using the Asus motherboards in most of my builds. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to spend this much money for a motherboard. I wouldn't suggest it. Use that money towards, you know, your graphics card. You could save probably like $100 or $200 just getting the main features you need from a motherboard. If you need Wi-Fi, make sure you get that. But with me being an overclocker, I love to get boards that can actually handle overclocking. And I'm finna water cool this board as well. So that's a personal choice. I will always say put more money towards your storage and put more money towards your graphics card than instead of putting more money towards a motherboard. All right, so what I normally do is start with the CPU, which is the AMD Ryzen 9900X 3D. So the first thing you do is just pop this latch right here. And try not to damage any of the pins right here. And one thing I will say, I could have saved money. But at the time, the 9800X 3D was not in stock. So I grabbed the nearest one. I didn't need a 9950 because I'm not using it for my own productivity side. That's what my streaming side with the Threadripper is for. So I grabbed the next best thing, which was the 9900X 3D. So if you can see, if you can focus in, you can see that it has a little gold tip, and that lets you know which way the orientation that you need to drop the CPU in. In which, if you could tell, right here it has a little notch. You just plop it right down, and so then you just put it down, push the lever, and normally it's gonna pop off, but I believe I took this off just to double check the pins when I bought the motherboard. Yeah, I did all that for no reason. I forgot that I actually bought a frame, a contact frame for this board to make sure it get even displacement when I put the thermal paste in and I put the CPU block on. So now I got to unscrew all this. So let's get this CPU out. Yeah, so I'll just take the original equipment off. Now, I'm gonna put that back down there. And I'm gonna line it up with the contact frame, easy peasy, and use the provided screws. Take the included tool. Kind of go on a star pattern. All right, the next step for me is going to be installing the M.2s. So if I remember, I gotta remove this screw here. So I gotta remove this screw here too. So it looks like it's 4 captive screws. Yep. So it looks like it's a M.2 slot here, 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 and then there's one here. And I believe this is for 5.0. I didn't, so this thing is, I need to actually find out, which one is not going to interfere with lane sharing for the GPU and the CPU. So I just need to make sure, let me read the manual and actually see where I'm putting each one, because I got 3. All right, I'm back. So this one and these 2 slots here do not share bandwidth with the GPU. So I'm gonna leave these blank so I make sure I get my full speed. So let me gonna put the M.2s in here, and actually, oh, this is actually easy. That's actually nice. It got a little latch. Would have been nice if the whole board had latches. So I'm gonna remove the peel here. Gonna get it ready. The other 2 peels I don't have to really worry about. I do need to remove the peel here. There's been so many times that I forgot about this dang peel, so I'm gonna remove it now. So I'm gonna put the boot drive there, which is the 500 gig Western Digital Black. So it should be as easy as plopping it here. And putting this back on. Yeah, let's see. How do I put this back on? Okay, so you just slide it in there. Next, I'm gonna do the 2 terabyte Western Digital. Put this one right here. Then I'm gonna do this one, the other 2 terabyte. This is the SN770. And I'm just gonna plop this one here. All right, the next thing I'm putting in is the RAM, the Trident Z Royal Neo. Ah, it's nice. Actually come with a little cleaning cloth. And that's beautiful. All right, so if you can see, I'm just gonna be using 2.6 RAM to keep it stable. So most time it's a diagram right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can. You should be able to see it. It says DIMM A1, A2, B1, B2. And it's a little line right here that y'all probably can't make out, but it's basically saying slot 2 and slot 4 is the primary. That's the reason why I came with a cleaning cloth. These things leave so many fingerprints. And with the RAM, it only can go one way. Most time it's the sticker is gonna face the CPU. You just line in, you'll hear it click. And then the levers a snap in as well. So I got one more. Line it up. Use a little force. So look like to prep for the water block, I do have to remove these retention brackets for like an AIO or air cooler. So I just gotta meet the AlphaCool Apex CPU block for the AM5 series of CPUs. Inside the bag, they give you some thermal paste, a spatula to spread the paste, an ARGB adapter to go to the motherboard, some M5 nuts to secure the block to the motherboard, and a couple backup accessories just in case you need them. And the star of the show is the AlphaCool Apex for AM5, RGB throughout, and the in and the outlet are all set. So AlphaCool Apex thermal paste. So I can use as much as possible. One reason is because I'm gonna be using a spatula, or some people call it a spreader. Make sure if you get this block, make sure you please remove this. And it is simple as plopping it down. And then you just gotta go to the back and actually screw it in. This iFixit kit has everything I need, because I was like, how am I gonna get these little flag nuts tightened and secure? So it's actually an attachment that came with the iFixit kit. It's perfect. And I took the storage off. Not storage. I took the RAM off. That way I don't bend it while I'm trying to put this block on. All right. The game inside motherboard is done. Got the storage installed, the RAM installed, and the water block installed. This thing is looking beautiful. All right, so I got two locations. I can put it here, or I can put it here. So what I'm thinking is the streaming side go here, because it's also gonna be used for my productivity. And then I'm gonna actually put the gaming side here. First thing I need to do is actually remove the motherboard tray. It separates where I can actually put the exhaust fan on and gonna put the motherboard inside. All right, let me remove the tray. This is screw here that I gotta remove. And it's another one. Look like to get to it, I also gotta remove this right here. This is where I can put SSDs on, and it also has the cables. All right, let's put the motherboard on the tray. All right, so now I need to secure all the screws to the motherboard to the tray. Probably help if I actually put the right bit on my screwdriver. All right, so one thing I gotta do is actually secure the fan on the tray, and And this is a Fantex D30 fan. So I'm gonna screw it on. I'm not gonna screw it all the way in because I might have to align it. Alright, so I need to actually clean the thermal paste from my old thread ripper board. That way I can put the new water block on. So I got me a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, 91%. Should be easy to clean up, and a couple cotton swabs. Simple as just taking the cotton swabs and just dip the end in the alcohol. See, easy as that. One thing you might want to do is put some gloves on. The thermal paste from here will get on your hands somehow, some way, but you know, it's not hard to take it off, but you know, you can just put some gloves on. That way you don't have to really worry about dipping your hand in alcohol just to get it off. Clean as a whistle, like it never been hit by thermal paste. Okay, for the water block for this board, I'm gonna be using the EK Quantum Momentum. It's actually made for this board. It's for the Rogue Zenith 2 Extreme. Instead of going with the Alpha Cool, I already had this water block set aside for whenever I decided to water cool this motherboard. First, what I'm gonna do is actually pop out all of these RAM sticks. So this is the water block for this motherboard. Beautiful. I actually currently use it on one of my other builds and it's been real good. All right, the first thing I gotta do is actually remove the stock cooler, which is a couple screws. Like from the manual was here, 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 here. And 1, 2, 3, and this one. And I actually need to grab something to make sure I put all the screws back in the right place. So I'm gonna be using the top from the iFixit toolkit. All right, that should allow me to, remove this now. Then I gotta actually remove this. It might be hard to remove considering that they're stuck on the M.2. It's still that thermal pad that was still kind of stuck. I gotta remove this piece here. Next, what I gotta do is actually cut these thermal pads to size. One is gonna go over here, and one little small one will be right here. All right, thermal pads are put on here and here. Now I just need to put some thermal paste here and then put the block on. It was nice of them to include some thermal grizzly. So with the thread ripper, you just gotta put line straight down. Open up the block. And I'm gonna make sure I remove this. Nice little star pattern. All right, I got the CPU water block on, looking good. Now I just gotta attach everything else back to the motherboard, put the RAM on, and I'll be ready to put this inside the disk. All right, now I need to flip it over and install the screws on the back side. All right, back plate is on with all the screws. And it's ready for to be water cooled. All right, let's start off by putting the RAM back in. Give it a little wipe down. Just want to put them back in the position they was in. I know this board was stable before the water cooling, so hopefully I didn't mess up anything. I can always test it out before running water on it, at least make sure everything boot. I'm really not worried about that. And worried about me trying to put the RAM upside down. Now, that's a thing of beauty right there. All right, so now I gotta put the motherboard on this tray, just like the gaming side. All right, I gotta put the screws here, here, and here, 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 there, everywhere. It's nine set of screws, so let me go and put these on the motherboard now. So what I can also do right now is gonna put the capture cards on the motherboard because it makes it easier. Then I put the graphics card inside when I put it inside the disk. All right, so I need to remove a couple screws because this one capture card go here. And I'm gonna have another capture card right here. So I gotta remove this screw. And then I have another capture card here. So I gotta remove this screw. So the first capture card is gonna be the one I'm gonna be using for my camera. It's the Elgato 4K60 Pro. The next one is gonna be the AverMedia I think it's the GC575, the one that's made for consoles like HDMI 2.1. I'm fun to install the Elgato 4K Pro, the competitor for the AverMedia for the console and high refresh rate monitors. I swapped the 4K60 around to the top slot because it was so close to the headers right here that I'll probably have some issues when I'm trying to hook up all my front panel connectors. So this is how everything looks. Now I just gotta put the graphics card, but that's gonna be done inside the disk. Just a little preview of how both of the motherboards inside the system is gonna look. All right, so now I'm finna install the fans here, and on the exact same side, on the other side, I'm finna go and install the fans. Just like the exhaust fans, I'm going to be using the Fantex D3120s. This is a reverse fan. I'm gonna be using this as an intake though. The only exhaust fans I'm gonna have is the ones on the rear. Everything else is gonna be intaking from the front and from the sides. And then I just need to put two on each side. All right, I got two boxes, but I'm only gonna be using two from each one. So just gonna unbox this. Good thing about these Fantex D30 fans, they are daisy chainable. So you've seen it on my on the back side of the motherboard. Basically, it'll just connect like this. I just gotta connect them with some pogo pins. It's the signal input, which this is the corner, so it goes straight to the motherboard and let you daisy chain. This the out, this the in. So I'm gonna take this connector here with the pogo pins and connect both of them like this. And just gotta attach these clips here. I'm gonna leave this open because this is where this cable's gonna go. And to actually make it pretty, so it has a seamless design so you don't actually see the screw holes. It came with these blank plates. So it looks like this and it's all solid. All right, both set of fans are done for the side intakes. Right here is gonna be like the hardest part. Left side done, now to move on to the right. All right, right side is done. Now let me put the power supply in. Can you guess the theme of my next build?